give the Most High all the glory and all the honor for His love and His kindness. So, on today's law of the day, let me go straight into the scriptures. Um, as usual, I think I'm going to go towards Leviticus today. I have not really been going towards the Leviticus. There's a lot of laws in Leviticus, a lot of laws. So, um, Leviticus, let me try Leviticus 20. Leviticus 20. Okay. To Moshe saying, whosoever of the children of Israel or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel that giveth any of his seed to Moloch, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. Verse 3. And I will set my eyes against that man and will cut him off from among his people, because he had given his seed unto Moloch to defile my sanctuary and to profane my holy name. Verse 4. And if the people of the land do anyways hide their eyes from the man when he giveth his seed to Moloch, and kill him not. Verse 5. Then I will set my face against that man and against that his family, and will cut him off, and all that go whoring after him to commit whoredom with Moloch from among their people. Verse 6. And the soul that turneth after such have the familiar spirit, or have a familiar spirit, and after wizard to go a whoring after them. I will even set my face against that soul. I will cut him off from among his people. Let me start from verse 6. So I'm gonna go through this backwards. The Most High said that he will cut the person off from among his people. He will cut the person off from among his people. My brothers and sisters, if Yah cuts me off from among my people, then I will no longer believe that I am who I am. What do I mean? So let's say the Most High cuts off an Indian from his people. Let's say the Most High cuts off an Indian. That is, the Most High is angry with a man who is from India, and the Most High cuts him off from his people, the Indians. That man will now begin to deny that he's no longer Indian. Let's say a Chinese man pisses the Most High off by worshiping idol, and the Most High becomes angry at the Chinese man and decides to cut him off from the Chinese people. The man will go into denial. The man will no longer agree. They will never agree that they are Chinese. And so, you see what's happening to the Israelite today. Majority of Israelites do not believe that they're Israelites. They will never accept that they're Israelites. They will accept any other nation but their own nation. Let's keep moving backwards in terms of addressing this chapter. Now, if you look at the cause, the issue that will make the Most High to turn against someone or a family. Again, let me read that again. It says, again, verse 2, Leviticus 22. Again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whoso it be of the children of Israel, or of the stranger that sojourneth in Israel, that giveth any of his seed to Moloch, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. So if someone sacrifices their child to this particular deity, this particular God that these people worship, anyone that gives their child unto Moloch, that offers their child, that sacrifices their child to this particular deity, that person will be cut off. So what does that mean? That when someone offers their child to this deity, very simple. There's a particular god they have at that time called Moloch. There's a particular god called Moloch. So now, people sometimes offer their child to Moloch, sometimes. And the Most High, of course, does not want us to do that, to offer your child as a sacrifice. And the child will be offered as a sacrifice. The Most High does not want that. Now, when we read this, it seems like it's something that happened thousands of years ago, that it doesn't happen again in this time that we're living in. But actually it does. This type of thing still happens in this time that we're living in. It still happens because today it happens in a different way. So let's go back, like say we are back there 3,000 years ago, 3,500 years ago. When somebody offers their child to Moloch, for example, when someone offers their child to that deity, the child will be sacrificed. So the child will be sacrificed to the deity. Now, when the child is sacrificed to the deity, when the child is sacrificed to that particular deity, what happens is the child may be put to death. The child may be put to death as has been sacrificed to the deity, because the people back then, their understanding of death, it's a little bit different from our understanding of death today. Back then, they didn't fear much about dying, because it's important to understand the mindset of the people back then. That's why you see people sometimes killing themselves or putting themselves in harm's way in order to make a point back then. So they were not as scared of dying as we are today. So their mindset was totally different. People might believe something like, that just like today we believe, that when we die, we go to heaven, even though actually we're not going to heaven, even though nobody is going to heaven. But you see that belief today. Now, go try telling a Christian that they will not go to heaven when they die. You know that a Christian is not going to believe that. A Christian will never believe that they will not go to heaven. Today, people believe that when they die, they will go to heaven. We clearly see that belief today. So I'm glad that we have an example like that. So I'm just explaining why somebody will want to sacrifice their child. Because for us, it might not make sense, because you love your children and you would never, ever, ever, ever in a million years think of killing your child. But I mean, can you imagine somebody convincing you today that you ought to, kill your child because your child will go to heaven? I'm pretty sure that some people can be convinced today. I'm very sure that some people can be convinced today to kill their child or kill themselves because they will go to heaven. Because, we've been told that heaven is good, heaven is a good place and everything. But The reality of the matter is that, according to the scriptures, nobody's actually going to heaven. Nobody's coming to heaven. Nobody's going to heaven. Absolutely nobody. Revelation chapter 22 tells you that heaven will come down here on earth. The Most High will come down from heaven to join his people. Down here, according to Revelation chapter 22, the Most High will come down here to join his people. So, I am just trying to explain why people would want to sacrifice their child back then, because they saw life differently. They were not as scared as dying, and they were pretty committed and dedicated to whatever they're doing. When they believe in a God, they worship that God, and they worship the hell out of that God. Like when people have a stone or wood, and they can actually put you to death if you are against their God. And then also, I keep remembering that all this stuff that happened back then is still happening today. All these things still happens today. Take for India, for example. If you go to India, there are some parts of India where they worship cows. Cow. The same cow that you get your hamburger from. There are some parts of India where they worship cows. There are some parts of India where they worship elephant. They worship elephant in some parts of India. So, I mean, if we're reading Leviticus chapter 20, and it says that if you offer your child to Moloch, you'll be put to death or whatever. I mean, it's like you might be thinking, why would people worship Moloch? Well, today in 2025, there are people all over the world worshiping strange things. It's not what we read here. It's not something that is extraordinary, that is impossible to happen. No, stuff like this do happen. So the Most High is saying you're not to offer your child to this deity or this God, which people were doing. And the main point is that if you do offer your child, the Most High said that in verse 3, look at verse 3, Leviticus 23, and I will set my face against that man. Okay, so if I offer my child to that particular deity or that God, the Most High will set his face against me. He will set his face against me and will cut me off, and will cut him off from among his people. So if I do, the Most High will set his face against me and cut me off among my people. And I'm trying to highlight this and point this out for a particular reason. I will set my face against that man and cut him off among his people, because he had given his seed unto Moloch to defile my sanctuary and to go profane and to profane my holy name. So again, my brothers and sisters, this particular law, this law in Leviticus 20, I'm telling you, is the reason why that most people today will never admit that they're Israelites, because of this type of law here. So the point is that there are certain things that I will do. There's a kind of thing that I will do. The Most High will cause me to reject my identity. He will cause me, because if the Most High, think about it, my brothers and sisters, what can the Most High do to someone? Like the Most High is in heaven, right? And we're here on earth. And then somebody sacrifices their child to this deity or this God called Moloch. Is the Most High going to come down from heaven to punish that person? The answer is absolutely no. Absolutely no. So the Most High, being a spirit and a manipulator, the creator of a person, the Most High can manipulate us. He can press us like a remote. The Most High can make us to hate something or to love something, like he had in the heart of Pharaoh. So in that case, the Most High, if the Most High wants me to be cut off, he's not gonna send people to start chasing me around. Like there's an easy way for him to achieve it, by manipulating me and altering my senses, and then making me to reject who I am. So for example, if the Most High wants someone to be cut off from being a male, the Most High the person might end up denying that they're male. And when it comes to identity, the person might end up denying their identity. So this is the reason why there are a lot of people today do not believe or accept and will never agree that they're Israelite because they have been cut off. And this is scary. This type of thing scared the hell out of me because if I start breaking Yah's law, if I start breaking the commandment of the Most High, I can easily be driven out or made to reject my identity. Or you can also be made to reject your identity. Now, it's important for you to remain who you are. Whoever you are, however you are created, if you're created a male, be happy to be male. Don't try to be something else. If you're from a particular nation, maybe you are Indian, or maybe you are from Zulu, or maybe you are Native American, be who you are. The Most High wants you to be who you are. And sometimes we are not satisfied for who we are meant to be. Now, verse 4, and if the people of the land do anyways hide their eyes from the man when he giveth his seed unto Moloch, and kill him not, then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut him off, and all that go whoring after him to commit whoredom with Moloch from among their people. So, according to the Most High, there's a particular kind of sin that somebody can commit. The person is to be put to death. The people are supposed to punish that person, collective punishment from the community. There are some sins that somebody will commit. The people of the land should come together and put that person to death. And it used to happen that way. And actually, in the Middle East and some parts of the Muslim world, when somebody commits certain sin, the people will stone the person. They still do that today. It's still done today. When someone commits certain sin, the person can be put to death for committing that sin. So, but then a society or a people can become corrupt to a certain point. They become corrupt to a point that they will actually turn their face against such a thing. Like in America, there was a time they used to look down on homosexuals, and they used to consider homosexuals to be mentally ill, but today that's no longer the case. So there's a time that people can frown their face against abortion, but today it's looked at favorably, like stuff like that. So society keep on degenerating and keep going down and down and down. And all of a sudden, at some point, those type of things that somebody can be put to death when they practice, all of a sudden it becomes acceptable. So at that point, the Most High can turn his face against a society or against a people or against a man that practice such a thing. And that's why that you and I, my brother, my sister, ought to be careful in whatever we do. Let us be careful in what we practice. Let us be careful so that we don't end up by accident or intentionally something that the Most High condemns. Because as he told us here is that verse 6, Leviticus 20 verse 6, and the soul that turneth after such her familiar spirit and after wizard to go whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul and will cut him off from among his people. So if I commit certain kind of sin, the Most High can turn against me, and the Most High can make me to be cut off from among my people. And I'm telling you, if the Most High causes me to be cut off from among my people, I will simply hate myself. I will hate where I came from, and I will no longer agree to be who I am. And that's why you see people today, a lot of the so-called African Americans today, they will never, over their dead body, will they ever accept that they're Israelites. And I see that not only among the so-called African Americans, but among other Israelites. They will never admit that they're Israelites, but they were proud to be an American. They'll be happy to be an American. They are proud to be an American. They wave American flag. They are proud to be whatever country, Nigerian. They have no problem accepting that they are Nigerian, or they are Ghanaian, or they are South African, or wherever they are. They will gladly accept to be from that place, from a fake country. Actually, all these countries are fake, because this country was created by the Gentiles. Nigeria was created by the British. Ghana was, so all these fake countries that man has created, our people will gladly say that they are from these fake countries. But if you try to show them and reason with them, for them to see that they are Israelite, they will never accept it. They will never, ever, ever, ever accept that they are Israelites. They will argue. They will make up all kinds of reason to admit that they're Israelites. They will never, ever, ever agree that they're Israelites. They will make excuses and stuff like that. So, and there's a spiritual aspect to that, because if the Most High wants to, cut off somebody, then the person will deny that they're Israelite. And another example I will give you, is Lamentation chapter 2. Lamentation chapter 2. Look at what it says. And he had violently taken away his tabernacle, as if it were a garden. He had destroyed his place of assembly. Yah had caused the stolen feast and Sabbath to be forgotten in Zion, and had despised in the indignation of his anger the king and the priest. So here in Lamentation chapter 2, it's telling us that the Most High had violently taken away his tabernacle and had destroyed his places of assembly. It says that he had caused the solemn feast to be forgotten in Zion. And that's precisely my point that I'm trying to make. As you can clearly see, out of anger, the Most High destroyed his place of worship by sending people to come over and destroy it. Like the Romans came and destroyed Jerusalem in 70 AD. It goes on to say here in Leviticus chapter 2, verse 6, that Yah had caused the solemn feast to be forgotten in Zion. Let me highlight that. He had caused the solemn feast to be forgotten in Zion. He had caused the solemn feast to be forgotten in Zion. Okay? He had caused the solemn feast to be forgotten in Zion. And that's why today we are no longer interested in keeping the true biblical Sabbath. You see how our people reject the true biblical Sabbath. They will accept Saturday as being the Sabbath day. But if you show them a very clearly evidence that the moon is the calendar, that we ought to keep Sabbath according to the moon, they will absolutely reject it. They will absolutely say no. They will argue from different ways to deny that Saturday, is not the real Sabbath. They will claim that Saturday is the real Sabbath, and they will the moon. And the reason for that, the reason why people reject it is because of Lamentation chapter 2. Lamentation chapter 2, verse 6. That's the reason why. So, as you can clearly see, let me go back to Leviticus chapter 20 here. The point is that if we start doing something that the Most High hates, if we start breaking the law, the Most High can actually cause us to love that thing, to love wickedness, to love, lawlessness, to love abomination, and we will rationalize it. We will try to justify it by claiming that God is merciful, He is gracious. While we are committing sin, while we're living in sin, we can justify it, and that's what happens when the Most High turns against someone. He can make that person to love something that is terrible, something that is bad for them. The Most High can cause them to love that thing. So we have to be very, very careful when we deal with the Most High. When it comes to keeping the law, I'm telling you, my brothers and sisters, let us be careful not to start doing things that can make the Most High to turn against us and then cause us to hate, to do something that is not good for us. Let me close with Romans chapter 1, because he talked about something like this in Romans chapter 1. Romans chapter 1, I think, let me start from around verse 24. Look at Romans chapter 1 from verse 24. Romans chapter 1 from verse 24. Romans chapter 1 from verse 24. It says, wherefore Elohim gave them up to unclean thoughts, to uncleanness through the lust of their own heart, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of Elohim into lie, and worshipped and served creatures more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Verse 26. For this cause Elohim gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. So, verse 27, Romans 1:27. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, born in their lust to one another, with men walking that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense, that their error, which was recompense of their error, which was meat. Verse 28. And even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their knowledge, Elohim gave them over to reprobate mind, to do these things which are not convenient. So Romans chapter 1 here, the point from verse 24 to 28 is that the Most High can give somebody up. The Most High can cause someone to, the Most High can actually cause someone to become a reprobate. The Most High can cause someone to start doing something that is harmful for themselves, something that is terrible and harmful and bad. The Most High can cause someone to do that. As you can clearly see in Romans chapter 1, from verse 24 to 28, the Most High can cause someone to begin to do something that is horrible and terrible for themselves, and you will never convince them to stop. You will never convince them to stop, okay? Because they have done something terrible, and the Most High will give them up, and they will continue in that horrible and abominable thing. We see that in Romans chapter 1, from verse 24 to 28. We also see that in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, talking about people that refuse to accept the truth, and then the Most High send them a strong delusion to believe lies. As you can clearly see here, Romans chapter, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And for this cause, Elohim sent them a strong delusion that they believe a lie. So you can clearly see that the Most High is one that sent them a strong delusion to believe a lie. Verse 12. That they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. So this is showing us that when someone has pleasure in unrighteousness, when someone believes a lie, like refusing to keep the law, the Most High can give them up. The Most High can send them a strong delusion to believe lies because they refuse to accept the truth and keep the law. The Most High will then turn against them. So this is clear, very, very clear here. It's very obvious that the Most High can turn against someone. The Most High can cause someone to believe lies, and you will never, ever convince them of the truth. You will never, ever, ever, they will never accept what you are telling them, because what's happening to them is something spiritual. So we can clearly see that in our main scripture today, which is Leviticus chapter 20. Leviticus chapter 20 from verse 1 to 6. We can clearly see that the Most High can turn against someone and cause them to believe lies. We also saw Romans chapter 1 from verse 4 to 28. We also saw that the Most High can can cause someone to begin to do something that is horrible for themselves. We also saw in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, or even before that, we saw in Lamentations chapter 2, verse 6, that the Most High, out of anger, can cause his place of worship to be destroyed. The Most High can cause the people to reject that which he had commanded them to obey. The Most High can cause people to forget the Sabbath. And clearly, that has happened today. The Most High can cause someone to be cut off from among his people, according to Leviticus chapter 20. And when that happens, that person will never, ever accept or believe who they are. They will deny their identity in that case. We also saw in Romans, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, that we read that the Most High can send someone a strong delusion, and you will never convince them to believe that which the Most High doesn't want them to believe. Or the Most High, it's so clear by looking at all these scriptures. And then at the end of the day, when you put it all together, that should make us to be afraid. That should make us to be afraid of the Most High, and that should make us to be mindful on what we do, because the Most High is not a respecter of a person. He can easily turn against us. He can turn against us and in a blink of an eye. And that scares me. When the Most High turns against me, you will now see me believing lies, and you will now see me justifying lies in different ways, shape, or form. I can begin to practice lies and believe lies and stuff like that. And that's why what we clearly see today, when you see Israelites who deny to be Israelites, they are proud to be Americans. They are proud to be Christians, but they will never accept that they're Israelites. Same thing with Sabbath. We see people that absolutely reject the Sabbath. You will never convince them otherwise. We're seeing these things today. We're seeing these things. We're seeing those who practice homosexuality. You will never convince them otherwise. So let us be careful, my brothers and sisters. When we walk with the Most High, let us walk with all our heart and with all our soul. Let us not play games, because then the Most High can turn against me and cause me to hate these things that are beautiful, these things that are holy, these things that are good that he gave to us. He can also turn against us and cause us to hate these things. So all praises to our Heavenly Father. I give the Most High all the glory and all the honor for his love and his kindness, for his mercy, for opening our eyes to understand his word. I am very grateful and thankful to our Heavenly Father. He has done all that he needs to do for us. He's not going to come down from heaven and help us the way we're thinking. He's given us everything. He's given us knowledge. We have to help ourselves. And one of the best ways to help ourselves is to meditate in the book of the law once a day, once at night, as he told Joshua in Joshua chapter 1. Joshua chapter 1 from verse 7 to 9, he told Joshua to meditate in the book of the law once a day, once at night, and once at night. Joshua chapter 1 from verse 7. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou might observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand, that thou might prosper wherever thou goest. Verse 8, Joshua 1:8. This book of the law shall not depart from out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou might observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Verse 9, have I not commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for Yah your Elohim is with thee. So, all praises to the Most High. I give the Most High all the glory and all the honor for his love and his kindness. My brothers and sisters, you can clearly see in this today's law of the day, that the wishes of the Most High is very clear. What he wants from us is very clear. And we can also see the consequences of breaking the law. Man, this type of thing scares me. It scares me. We can clearly see the consequences. That when we break the law, the Most High can sometimes turn against us. Sometimes he ignores us because we are a nobody. Who are we? Who am I being down here on earth? Who am I? Who am I to the Most High? So sometimes the Most High will ignore a person in their lawlessness. Sometimes the Most High will ignore someone in their sin and they will keep on going. But sometimes the Most High can also turn against that person and they will continue doing that, whatever they are doing, and you will never convince them to stop doing that thing. And it's something that is very scary that can make us to be careful, because the Most High can turn against us. If you decide to explore homosexuality, can become angry at you and then make you to love homosexuality to the point that you might even change your body. You might even get a surgery. And if you're a man, now all of a sudden you want to be a woman. If you're a woman, all of a sudden you want to be a man. The Most High can become angry at someone and such a lie, and then they'll begin to alter their body and stuff like that. Also, the Most High is against us, of course, and He has now caused us to reject our identity. And that's why that most Israelites will never agree to be Israelite. They will never accept. But the time will come when their children and their children's children, those that come after them, will understand who they are. And it's beginning to happen. Now we know who we are. To accept our identity. So all praises to the Most High. I give the Most High all the glory and all the honor. Thank you so much for being part of this today's law of the day. I'm glad we did this. As you can clearly see, the scripture is very clear and the understanding is very clear. The explanation and the understanding is very clear. So all praises to the Most High. If you want to summarize everything we went through here, is for us to be afraid of the Most High. Let us be very careful when we're dealing with our Heavenly Father. Let us stay clear of worshiping idol in any way, shape, or form. I've tried to explain to you what it means. Even today, people are still doing an abortion. When you do an abortion, you're sacrificing your child. When someone engages in abortion, they are sacrificing their child, and we ought to not do such a thing. When we not only that, but when we put our children in a situation, when we put our children in a situation where they will no longer be able to worship the Most High, we're sacrificing that child. Think about it. Does it not make sense? Does it not make sense? When we put a child in a situation where they can no longer serve their Creator, worship their God, and serve their God, we are sacrificing that child. So let us be careful, because the Most High can turn against us when we do such a thing. That is one of the reasons why I speak so much against sending kids to school. Sending children to school. Because when they go to school, they pollute themselves, they defile themselves, and they forget the Most High. When you send them to school, then they will never come up knowing the Most High, because you're supposed to teach them the law from childhood. So let us be very careful. If you have children, don't send them to school, but rather educate them yourself. Educate them yourself, and if you do need any help, in terms of educating your children yourself, let me know. I will certainly help you and show you how that you can do that, because there was a time that people did not go to school and they still learn how to read and write. It's still possible to do that if you're willing. If you're not lazy, want someone else to do it for you, you can do it yourself, because it's your children. Who better raise your children than you? Who better teach your children than you? You can teach them the right way. So all praises to the Most High. Give the Most High all the glory and all the honor for His love and His kindness. Thank you again for being part of today's law of the day. And Yazulin, I will see you tomorrow.